Erik Kramer is the Bears' single-season record holder for passing yards, also holds the Bears' single-season record for touchdown passes with 29, statistics we can only dream of right now. But despite all of that success, he battled depression for years in secret, depression which only got worse after the death of his son and led him to attempt suicide in 2015. But Erik miraculously survived and is now telling his amazing story of survival in a new book. It's called The Ultimate Comeback: Surviving Suicide, Conquering Depression, and Living with a Purpose. He joins us this morning. So great to have you.
Yeah, good. Thanks for having me, and great to be on here.
You know, I think the one thing a lot of times that people who battle depression still deal with is that when people see them from the outside, they see a guy like you and they say, well, what does this guy have to be upset? What does he have to be sad about, right? He looks so happy. He looks like he's doing so well. But what would your message be to those people to dispel that notion and to describe what it actually is like living with and hiding that kind of depression?
Well, no matter what it is people are doing, I don't care what profession you're in, life also occurs. And so for me, it happened in 1994 when I was, took me a while to get to a spot where someone said, hey, we want you to be the guy. That hadn't happened since youth football. And so then I got hurt. And when I came back from being, it was an injured shoulder, then Steve Walsh had taken over and we were winning. And so I was there, I stayed. And it got to the point, it kind of came out of nowhere. And I didn't want to get out of bed. And last thing I wanted to do was go into House Hall. And yet, that's what you had to do. And so you eventually, even though you're dying on the inside, it's not like you can go, hey, everybody, stop this train for a minute. Let me explain what's going on. So you just kind of deal with it and push forward.
Another athlete might have handled that situation completely differently. Do you ever think about, like, why did I handle it this way? Was there something in my background that makes me predisposed to go down the depression road versus the fight mode or something?
Well, I would say this, there really isn't a choice. So it just kind of it sort of envelops you kind of like a fog, right? So there's really nothing to fight against. There's no strategy against it. And in my opinion, speaking only from my experience, that the more you can sort of proactively ahead of time create sort of a home team around you, which might include a therapist, might include some friends, some people that you have close interactions with, that not only you can say, hey, and have built like, I come talk to you because of, but it's also people that you know will come, that you've asked, hey, when you don't see something right in me, come talk to me about it.
We hear about 2015 was a very rough year for you, but you talk about 1994. And was this when you were growing up and things in your past with your parents, you had a complicated relationship and this all just kind of rolled into one big snowball at the end?
I would say so. I think this is a sort of part of the brain, right, when you're talking about depression, that doesn't happen because you had a bad week.
Yeah.
It's something that grows over in time about you, and it really is not an indictment, but it kind of, wherever you came from and the stories that are part of you, that's all part of your story. So it's not as simple as, man, if you would have just talked to that person, you know, or handled a little, there's no such thing as that.
So I was reading that your dad was one of those dads who push you, push. We see a lot of that today, especially.
Yeah.
How much of that had to do with this part of your brain that forms a certain way? Not everybody takes to that.
Well, and so I had a few conversations with my dad over the years where, you know, he kind of treated boundaries as a dotted line. And for a 13, 14, 17-year-old kid, that's sort of like, wait a minute, I just got through saying this. And yet here you are hiding up in the trees watching practice. And it just, you know, yeah, I think a lot of that, again, it's part of the story, you know, and so it's part of a lot of people's story.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, to the extent you're comfortable speaking about it, I mean, you mentioned it in the book, but I mean, the suicide attempt, the fact that you survived that is just a 1 in a billion chance. And you were a changed guy after that. Can you talk us through all of that?
Yeah. So first of all, who goes to the Good Night Inn to do that? I did. But I think afterward, you know, like you mentioned, the recovery process in itself was amazing. Like I remember going to a doctor's office who was one of the surgeons that night. And this was probably, I don't know, at least 3 months later, 4 months later. And I'm sitting here talking, and I look up, and it's like his jaw's on the ground. And I'm like, did I say something wrong? He goes, no. He goes, I'm sorry. He goes, but people that were in your situation aren't back here talking to me. Oh. So, you know, oh, okay. But so I've really, since that point, and since I don't really remember waking up, I'd say in the last 3 or 4 years, I do really feel very grateful to be here, to the people, the doctors and family and friends that have been around and walked with me through every step of this recovery. And so it's, there's a big, several purposes obviously to live for. And now that I am no longer depressed, I have a renewed perspective, which is one of the things depression takes from you, is a good perspective of what actually is going on.
Wow. How much do you think CTE might have had any effect on your brain at all?
Well, there's 100%.
You do?
For sure. But I say 100% not medically knowing that.
Right, right.
So, but I'm saying when I eventually do pass away, not of my own doing next time, but they will find that for sure. Man. And so you don't, and right now, you know you've got it, people know you've got it, but there's really nothing specific they can point to as, oh, this is how we treat this. That will come, I'm sure, in time.
And so is it just you finally found a doctor to talk to and you're on medication now? Is that what, you've turned the corner? Yeah,
I mean, I'm not on antidepressant medication. I don't have any depression.
Yeah.
But I do see a therapist once a week. I do confide in friends. And there was 3 or 4 years where I wasn't sleeping.
Wow.
Like literally maybe an hour or two.
Oh, man.
And so that takes a toll. And now that it was literally vitamin B6 and 5 milligrams of melatonin.
What would be your message to anybody out there who's watching this that is struggling how you were, and that is certainly not seeking as drastic a measure to relieve themselves of depression?
Well, so I'm working to put a mental health program together. We're not far off, which is going to start with young kids in 4th and 5th and 6th grade after-school programs. And so to be proactive, you would want to, as a kid, start to learn how to identify traits in people that you like. At that age, it's literally as much as telling the truth or having your friends back or speaking up for somebody. And then doing that, then how do you approach them? And those are all things you can act out. And so from a young age, I would say, if that takes place from that age through high school, then by the time you get out of high school, you've lived the better part of your life so far doing that. And I think it's a proactive approach rather than letting it settle in, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's an unbelievable story. We so appreciate you coming in today, Erik, and sharing your story with us.
All right. Yeah, the book is The Ultimate Comeback: Surviving a Suicide Attempt, Conquering Depression, and Living with a Purpose. And you can find Erik on his website. Thanks so much. We'll be right back.